are a collection of songwriters who have been doing our own solo stuff for quite a while. So we pool material from these different writers, and I think that really helps us have some variety in the group, have some different perspectives than just one single writer doing everything. And just our playing styles are pretty compatible, and I think it makes for a pretty compelling sound.
So I had an idea in going to open mics a lot. Like that's what I did, you know, I was like a solo acoustic guy, and I thought it would just be better and more, there would be a better result, I guess, if I were to take singer-songwriters from that community that I thought were pretty solid and kind of accompany each other. And I'd kind of tried to do it before, and David had also tried to do it before, but I thought, like, if I could get the right mix, because that's always, you know, that's always the trick, is like finding the exact right people for it. Because potentially if you put any 5 good songwriters together, you know, you're gonna get a pretty good result. But it wasn't until I convinced Joe that I knew it was going to be good, because I feel like Joe has like that frontman singer potential, and once I convinced him to do it, I felt like we had a voice, and then you know, it was pretty easy after that.
I think the most interesting thing about Old Neon is that even though they have a specific style they're looking for, we can all contribute as much as we want. And everybody in the band writes music, and everybody in the band can sing, or at least sing a little bit, and it just kind of opens up a lot of opportunities for things I've never had a chance to do, especially drumming. I didn't really sing a lot when I played the drums because it's just a different world, you know.
So with Old Neon, this is the first opportunity that I've had to really craft lead guitar parts for songs that are actual parts that stay the same, and it's a lot of fun. I really like the songwriting in the group, and it's a good opportunity to just sit back and just play guitar. So. I swear this is the last time, and I swear I've said this before.
You know, my uncle died really young, and they shipped his guitars up to my dad, and that was the first time I'd really touched a guitar, and I just started playing. It was like this crappy Ovation acoustic with with the round back, and you know, I just started learning and playing some chords, and really just fell in love with it. I was probably like 13.
Okay, I started playing guitar when I was 13. I was homeschooled, and it was a really good way to break up my day, and then I really started playing at church, and started writing songs almost immediately, and started performing at open mics, starting with the Shadow Lounge in Pittsburgh and moving on to other open mics in Pittsburgh.
I got started, I would say, when I was 9-10 years old in my first musical, and it was Hello Dolly, and I was in the child cast. After that, I just started to love to sing, and my dad played the drums, and I always wanted to play the drums, and that was the first instrument I really learned, and moved on to keyboard from there. So just kind of try to keep expanding.
I got started in music actually 4th grade in a church choir, kind of similar to some of the other members in the band, part of worship groups and whatnot, and I think we bring a little bit of that into the band sound as well.
So I got started in music in high school whenever I was in choirs and stuff. I kind of started doing that because I messed up my knee after I was in sports in like middle school. Couldn't really do sports, so I joined the choir and started singing and doing that stuff, and then doing musicals and that sort of thing. And then when I went to college, I thought that I would major in music, and it just kind of built on from there. So.
I don't know what makes it unique. I think that it's probably, well, this is hard because I can only look through my lens, you know, and I don't know what other lenses in other cities look like. But I would venture to guess that many people in many cities have similar experiences trying to, you know, be a band, grow a band, be in a band. I think that Pittsburgh is unique in that probably there are a lot of people like yourself, like you shows, people that are, you know, not necessarily in it to push their thing forward, but to try to lift others up. And I think that's the most wonderful thing I've seen, probably, is people that just want to be a part of the scene and because in a sense, just by recording this, Mr. Bones is part of Old Neon and vice versa. And I think those are the relationships that I care the most about, are the people that for no reason other than they're just decent and or care about what we're doing, come out and like want to help us do things. And I think there's kind of like a lot of cool, and I mentioned you and Hugh shows, but I'm probably forgetting like 10 other people. Like I've seen little Pittsburgh music blogs, little Pittsburgh music whatever, and that stuff's just really like and just good for everyone and good for the scene.
So what I don't like about the Pittsburgh music scene is that there are so many people trying to promote themselves, especially at the open mic scene. There's a lot of different artists, and they're all there to support their own music. There are all these solo artists, and it's kind of just discouraging, and I think it could be discouraging in a lot of different cities. If you're trying to like promote a show of your own, it does feel like the open mic community is not a good place to do that. And the other thing that is kind of a struggle in Pittsburgh is that I think the music scene is kind of divided into different cliques, and the open mic scene is one of those. And then there's like the underground show scene, a lot of those in like Oakland. And then there's like some people that are signed to like indie labels in Pittsburgh, and that's another scene. And so kind of trying to bridge the gap between those different cliques or smaller micro communities within the community of Pittsburgh as a whole is pretty tough.
Where does that come from? Does that come from people not coming to shows? Does that come from artists not getting paid by venues? Does it come from artists not doing the work? I mean, it's a whole ecosystem, and the ecosystem doesn't work. And there are people who are making some inroads, but as a whole, the ecosystem doesn't work. Artists can't spend the amount of time that they need to spend on really crafting amazing sets if they're not getting paid for showing up, and the venues can't pay the people if people don't come out. And I mean, it's a big circle, and it needs to be addressed.
The thing that I like about the Pittsburgh music scene the most, and it's kind of also the downfall sometimes, is that it's really close-knit and not a huge scene, but it seems like it gets into little groups, you know. So I think I like seeing how close everybody is, but I want to see more variety in lineups of shows. So I think a lot of people get stuck playing with the same people over again. So I think that would probably be the biggest thing. Is just more people, like different lineups on shows.
So the Pittsburgh music scene, I think it's great that there are so many different performers and bands out there. It's really inspiring working with some of those people, and there is a lot of collaboration going on. The one downside I would say is just getting people outside of the scene into shows, your pedestrian people. Tonight actually we had 3 folks who were just like, hey, we want to go to a show. We know this venue has live music. Let's look up the band. Oh, they're cool. Let's go see them. And I think we need more of that, especially with all the talent out here.
I could never fall in love. The judge up in the skies, who gave privilege to some. That happens all the time. But I thought that you'd be with me all the time. If I followed you with my thoughts, never questioned why.
I'm Joe Bray, and Mr. Bones knows me.
I'm Nicole Pyeritz, and Mr. Bones knows me.
I'm Dave Dickinson, and Mr. Bones knows me.
I'm Sam Stucky, and Mr. Bones knows me.
I am Sean Atkins, and Mr. Bones knows me.
God is in the way. You disappear, run away, sleep for days, let the sunlight fade away. But you were gold, like the sun, like the blood that you've been cutting from your veins. Now I won't change if you promise me you'll stay. Could you come out and play? Could you come out and play? Walk out in the ocean. God is in the way. 'Cause you got strong hands. There's so much less that I don't understand.
We're Old Neon, and Mr. Bones knows us.